Give me fuel, give me fire, give me double time.
It was time to begin the chase for the SRA K&N Throwback Series. They came to the Martinsville Speedway for 200 laps, and with being the first race in the contender round in only 3 races, each race was of vital importance for a top 6 spot. Jesse Schwartz got the pole with Bobby Zalinski second, K. Eisenhower third, Jared Darling and Ariani were out the top 5. And early on, it was actually a fairly clean race, as most of the field got sorted out for the first few laps. That's when the bumping and banging will start to begin. On lap number 10, Lachlan McMillan hits the curb in 3 and 4. He loses it and whacks the outside wall and climbs it. Luckily, he keeps going and no caution, but he does fall to the 10th spot. And then Ariani and Josh Brown were battling it out for the 5th spot, but Robin slides down in front of Ani. They both touch, and Ani slides back and falls to the number 8 spot, even having a little bit of a confrontation with David Shutt. Up at the front, Jesse Schwartz at the first 38 laps until Bobby Zalinski got run off of turn 4. And he would get by Schwartz, take the lead, and then Caleb Eisenhower gets second as Schwartz nearly hits the outside wall next to turn number 2 and is forced to relinquish second place. And as the race continued on, Jared Darling, who was starting in the top 5, was having big time problems. He got passed by Bobby Cheney and Austin Ramos to fall back to the outside of the top 10. In fact, he got as far back as 14th before the cars will start to come in for their first pit stops. And as that was going on, Kyle Punch was in a dogfight with Caleb Eisenhower. Also, Delonte Bauer and Ariani were in the mix, and Kyle Punch would get by Eisenhower to take the number 2 spot on lap number 81 as green flag pit stops were starting to go on. But then, lap number 86, it'll be Mark Newland getting spun out by Lachlan McMillan on the back straightaway. He would not hit anything, just maybe kiss the wall a little bit, but that'd be the first caution in the race, and that's when the yellows might start to go. David Shutt in the background made a crazy save on number 93, but that wasn't the story, as Connor Anton spins Eric Sable and almost flips him over in 3 and 4. Sable spins hard to the inside, but that'd be the second yellow of the race. Later on, Sable was actually trying to recover from that spin here, brawling it out with Austin Roberts for the number 9 spot. Jesse Schwartz and also David Shutt were also in this mix. And then, though, later on, Connor Anton spins Jesse Schwartz out of turn 2, lap number 154, and that's when the yellows really began. Nicholas Caressa, number 163, gets spun by Anton, but Anton, as he gets the worst of it, smashes the inside retaining wall. Now he caution number 4. Then Josh Robin on a restart, bumping outside while sliding down into Mark Newell. They crash, and Robin goes flipping on his lid. That was the 5th caution on number 173. Then after a race start, Austin Roberts and Jared Darling both get bumped. Roberts slides and hits the inside wall, but ahead of them, McMillan gets punted by Darling. He saves it, but the caution will come out once again. And on another restart, Darling and Roberts both crash on the front straightaway, and that was on number 185. And then a big one happened. Delonte Bauer gets rammed by Caleb Eisenhower. That hits Kyle Putt, and that starts a major accordion effect, taking out multiple cars. And that was the 8th caution of the race on lap number 192. And the mayhem would not stop. As Bobby Zalinski was been cruising along, when they go into the second last lap, number 199, Ariani gets bumped by David Shutt. He saves it. And as everyone else was bumping, banging, and smashing their way to try and get a good spot, Bobby Zalinski would cruise to the win and open up the chase for the victory at Martinsville. But behind them, Kyle Punch gets into Ariani. They both spin into the inside wall, and Ani got ping-ponged by Lachlan McMillan and Eric Cummings as a result. The final results were Bobby Zalinski, Bobby Cheney second, Eric Sable in third, David Shutt fourth, Jesse Schwartz 5th, Caleb Eisenhower 6th, Nicholas Caressa 7th, Connor Anton 8th, Ariani would come home 9th, and Kyle Punch 10th, despite that crash on the final lap. And in the chase standings, in terms of the cutoff to 6th place, Bobby Zalinski has a big margin over Bobby Cheney, Eric Sable, Jesse Schwartz, Nicholas Caressa, and Connor Anton, your top 6. Then Ariani, Kyle Busch, Jared Darling, Delonte Ballard, Austin Roberts, and Nick Norfolk round the top 12 after chase race number 1.
If you think you know racing games, you ain't seen nothing yet. Microsoft Monster Truck Madness! Challenge your senses. Choose from 4 exciting types of racing. Tournament! Your ticket gets you the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge. Multiplayer mode allows you to race against your friends via the internet or modem to modem. Microsoft Monster Truck Madness! Get tips from the pros with right-click help and a full multimedia help system. Microsoft Monster Truck Madness! Wild, wild, wild traction action! Let's see that again! Head for the garage! Soup up your truck! Microsoft Monster Truck Madness! Be there!
As for the SRA Slick Daddy Gen 6 Series, their chase started at the Michigan Motor Speedway for 100 laps of action, and the race was definitely a little bit more calmer than what you saw in Martinsville. Bob Zielinski was on the pole with Marcus Richardson second, Eric Sable, Jared Darling, and Benjamin Nelson ran out the top 5. A bit of a scramble early on. This Carter was forced to the apron after Brett Bunkari did not get a good start, but everything sorted itself out. Well, you think it would. Back behind for 4th place, it was a 4-wide moment. David Shutt slid up into Benjamin Nelson. Jared Darling and Femi Owen were all in this mix, but they all get it sorted out. Meanwhile, at the front of the pack, Eric Sable got by Marcus Richardson for second and then goes for the lead on number 5 on Bobby Zielinski. And Eric Sable gets by the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series race winner, and he would take over the race lead for the first time. Zielinski actually comes back on him on lap number 9 and actually gets the inside and middle of 1 and 2, but Sable eventually would hold him off for now, but then eventually things got crazy up at the front for the lead as the field goes 3 wide as Marcus Richardson gets into the mix. He takes the lead. Sable backs off big time, does a vicious crossover to exit turn 2. Zielinski goes to the outside, and those 3 were 3 wide down the back straightaway, entering turns 3 and 4. Richardson would just get a nose ahead because behind them, Matt Simpson loses control in a strange way, hits the outside wall, and gets into Nicholas Caressel. Both of their days were over, and the first caution would come out on lap number 14. We then fast forward to lap number 30 as Freddie De La Rosa was battling in the top 5 with Nicholas Shelton. He hits Shelton, and Shelton goes into the wall and tags Sable. Delonte Ballard had to squeeze through on the outside and just barely misses Sable. But then Shelton wasn't so forward. He slides down and in comes Cedric Hunter, and he creams Shelton and then the inside wall. That was the second caution of the race on the number 30. Meanwhile, Zielinski and Richardson was still going at it for the lead. They were nip and tuck for out a good chunk of the race, and those two were pretty much the class of the field, as of course both are in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series. Behind them, though, there was a chaotic battle for 8th place. Ariani slides down to make it 3-1 on Locke McMillan. Eric Sable, he slides up and just clips McMillan, who gets into Sable, and then he hits the outside wall, and Brett Bunkari benefited from that chaos and took over the 8th spot. Back up at the front, Zielinski and Richardson was still going at it on lap number 65 as some of the farmers were starting their green flag pit stops. In fact, even those two stayed side by side as they came into pit road on number 67 for their pit stops, but that's when the race would change. Marcus Richardson overshoots his pit stall and is forced to back up, and that was a costly error for Marcus Richardson. He would fall back in the field and eventually would drop out with issues late in the going. A tough break from Marcus Richardson. And with that issue, Bob Zielinski was pretty much free and clear with a big lead over the rest of the field as he looked to sweep the weekend here at the SRA Slick Daddy Gen 6 Series at Michigan. And everything was calm and clean until the final lap. Freddie De La Rosa and Connor Anton were battling it out for a top 5 spot, but they touched in turn 1, and there was a smash at the outside wall. Caused a big plume of smoke out of his car. He would still be able to limp it home, but it'd be Bobby Zielinski dominating and winning the SRA slick daddy chase opener at the Michigan International Speedway. The final results were Bobby Zalinski with the win, Ariani's second, Connor Anton third, David Shutt fourth, Jared Darling fifth, Zach Carson sixth, Freddie DeRosa with that crash, Wood Lipholm seventh, Lachlan McMillan, Benjamin Nelson, and Brett McCarty round the top 10. And in terms of the chase grid, after one race, Zalinski does lead the way. Then it's Ariani, David Shutt, and Connor Anton. Jared Darling is going to be all at your top 6. Then there's a very tight gap from Bobby Cheney to Nicholas Caressel, as 8 points separate 6th to 11th in the chase standings.